Hello and welcome to She Shines podcast. I am Sharon Holmes. Our goal here is always to empower you to embrace every facet of who you are, to help you find that beautiful balance for your life, and to encourage you to shine. And today we are back. Yes, she's back. Anita Davis is here with us again, discussing the top 10 things that singles over 30 want you to know. And so we did the first 7 things on the list, and today is the top 3.
Get ready, ladies.
Get ready, get ready, get ready. Top 3 now.
Okay.
So these are going to be the heavy ones.
Yes.
Top 3.
Okay.
Number 3, single does not equal desperate. Work with it.
Single does not equal desperate. It's almost like people say, by now you should have, this should have happened by now and all of those type of things. But single does not equal desperate. Single, people tell you when you're single that you need to throw away your checklist and this, that, and the other. But
Right.
no, you keep your checklist. It just evolves to become, who you are at that point. But single does not equal desperate. Single means this point it's almost like selective. You've seen you've been through your 20s and you've made your mistakes and you've saw some things and you've grown a little bit. And so it's certain things that the actual idea that you're 30 and single mean that you're not just accepting anything. So think about that.
Okay, so how do you answer, by now you should be willing to lower your standards and take what you can get?
The way that I answer that is that we're going to go back to the checklist. You know what I'm saying? Is that we have a certain expectation and we have certain things that we want. And people will try to make you feel like they're trying to make you feel stupid for wanting what you want. Mm-hmm. They always tell girls, the reason why you don't have it is because you got this big checklist. Why don't you throw away that checklist? You know what I'm saying? And then maybe you can get what you want. But the thing of it is that we want what we want, Mm-hmm. The checklist now, the proper term for it is like relationship goals. That's what the younger people are heading for. Relationship goals. It's still the same thing. It's still a checklist. It's still where I want to see myself and what I want to see myself doing. It's still the checklist is just evolving into a different thing.
And then it makes no sense because how is it that you're telling me when I get ready to go and buy a purse or a pair of shoes, I know what color I'm looking for. I know what heel height I'm looking for, I know kind of what style I want. Do I want a toe in, a toe out? Do I want the heel out? I love the ones with the straps around the ankle. So you're telling me to go and look for or to go and meet a man with no expectation. That just does not make good sense.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the thing about it is, you do have to be realistic. You have to be realistic as to, what it is you're looking for. You can't go out and talking about you're going to marry a millionaire and you're not working in that vein. You have to. And I'm not saying that it's not possible. There are people that have done it.
The chances are that you may not be in the circle, same circle to meet a millionaire.
Exactly. And then a lot of times, what are you doing? Where are you at? You know what I'm saying? You have to look within your parameters. I can't say I'm going to marry someone over in a different state and I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? So you still have to kind of work with your boundaries. You have to work with your guidelines, but don't throw away the checklist.
Just be realistic about it.
Just be realistic about
it. Got it. And so you don't have to feel like you have to lower your standards at a certain point to become married. And, desperation, I think most often when I hear the word desperate, I think of the saying, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Right.
And so singles are not, I know I wasn't at the point where I'm just willing to do anything to be coupled up.
Right.
I'm just willing to do anything or accept anything or, somebody that I'm totally not attracted to.
Exactly.
And attraction is not just physical, I can be attracted to a person's mind, so attraction is not just, now it involves that physical element, 99% of the time.
Okay. And let me tell you this is one of the things, and I call it a myth. They say that men are more visual than women. I believe it's a myth, and I'll tell you why. A great number of men are colorblind, right?
Okay, let me see how you're going to work this out.
A great number of men are colorblind, whereas women actually see more vividly. We can see magenta. We can see sea foam, right? Look, go back.
To a man, it's pink or green.
It's pink or it's green, and sometimes it's gray if they're colorblind. So we actually see more vividly. If you go back, I'm going to prove it to you. If you go back to the Bible and you go back to the story of Adam and Eve, and when Adam was in that garden, every tree just looked like a tree, right? It's a tree here, it's a tree there, it's a tree there. God said, don't touch this, you can touch that, don't touch this, right? When Eve got there, the thing that made it so different is that they said she looked at it and it was pleasing to the eye. So we're just more visual people. We think that women, we can see everything except for men. We're attracted to what we see. What we see is that's what we first, come across. That's what first draws you. So when we're looking at you, you almost just in standing in front of us, we can kind of map you out and tell you what kind of person you are in a sense. You know what I'm saying? According to we look at the way you dress. We look at the way way you wear your clothes, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you present yourself. And they always say you can't tell a book by its cover, but the cover gives me a synopsis of what's inside the book, right?
Yeah.
So the way that you present yourself, let me know who you are. You know what I'm saying? So we're keen. We're looking at details. If you ask a man, you take him to the mall and you say, how old do you think she is? They may tell your age. Women are looking at your hands. We're looking at your neck. We're looking at your chin line, your jawline. We're looking at details that's going to let us know.
Your ankles or cankles.
Okay? So we're actually more visual than they are. You know what I'm saying? But we're supposed to be blind when it comes to choosing a man, right? We're supposed to just accept the guy. He's got a good job. You hear this. Okay, so he's got a good job. This is what we hear. I hear this from him. He's got a good job. He's taking care of business. Why can't you like him? I'm not attracted to him, So we do look at looks.
Right. So then that whole idea of, you're single, he's single, just make it happen.
Just make it happen. Everybody is not your match. You know what I'm saying? You find people that would be a better friend to you than they would be a better companion. And you just have to respect that. You have to accept that. Everybody's not your match.
And then it does, I know this is probably off topic, but it shortchanges them in the long run if you were to make a move in, I don't want to even call it desperation, but if you were to make a hasty move and accept somebody that you know that you don't feel that way about, then you end up shortchanging them. And so I think as women, we know how it feels a lot of times to have been the one who's been shortchanged. We don't want to do that to somebody else.
They always talk about us putting them in the friend zone, and that's a bad thing to me, and to be in the friend zone when it really should not be. It's just a selection process. It's just saying, I want you as a friend. I might not want you as a, intimate partner, but you still can be a part of my life. But they hate that. They absolutely hate it. And we get put into the friend zone. And we don't like it. So we get it. We get it. We get put into, you're like my sister, and you hear this. And so it's like, okay. But see, we take it and we know how to just move on. We get it. But men feel like if I keep on, then, they try to make it happen. And it's like, okay, so sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. And then when you make it happen and make it work, so you end up getting short end of the stick.
So then I have to throw one more piece into the mix, and then I promise I am moving on.
Okay.
So then, since we've introduced men and, some of the things that we've seen into the mix, what about men who feel as though since the woman is over 30, now she might be a professional, she may make six figures, he may not even want to work at all, but hey, you're unmarried, so I got a good shot.
Don't try to make me fund your dream. Don't try to.
I really am, single does not equal desperate. I'm really staying right there.
Okay, single does not equal desperate. Is that you don't have to feel like you just have to accept anything to have something. You basically you mess yourself up when you get to that point. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like a lot of women at 30, you know who you are, you know what you want, and there's nothing wrong with wanting what you want. And being who you are. You don't have to change yourself for them. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Because a person that connects with you is going to connect with you. I don't. You make the things that you see as flaws and as awkward. They're looking at those things saying, I like that. Tyra Banks.
That's what makes her different.
That's what makes her different. Tyra Banks with the big forehead. She's talked about this, how her forehead was labeled as big when she was coming up. But guess what got her in front of all of us? This brown-skinned girl with a big forehead. You know what I'm saying? So your flaws become perfect for somebody else. They're imperfections to you, but they're perfect for somebody else. So,
got it.
Yeah, there you go.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay, so I think that's a good place to move to number 2 on the list.
Oh, God.
Number 2. We're in the top 3, so I'm telling you they're getting harder. Okay, so number 2. Single women over 30 want you to know that they are not out to steal your man.
Wow. Like right now. That is, okay, so you get women that when you go to, I've been going to places and I've gone, like you're going into a store, right? And their guy friend will hold a door for them, and it's almost like they want them to just
slam the door.
Let it go. Let it go. And don't be halfway cute. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
With a quick.
Let it go. So it's like, come on now. To me, that's from a place of insecurity, and it's on her part or whoever's part. That's from a place of insecurity. When you're secure in your relationship, you're not worried about the other women. You know what I'm saying? You are that man's Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're that man. You're it for him. You know what I'm saying? But it comes from a place of insecurity. And the thing that it does is that it makes the single woman, it makes us almost like the sore thumb. Like it's a taboo. It's a taboo to us. It makes us feel kind of
like
rejected.
The shark in the water.
Shark in the water, in a sense. So now you have labeled all of us the shark in the water. And the thing of it is that when a woman has a certain level of standard and when she has values, your man is unattractive to her. You know, it takes a special kind of woman to mess with another woman's man. You know what I'm saying? Because your man becomes unattractive to her. Not that he's not good looking, and not that he's not fine as wine, but he becomes somewhat. He's not hers. He becomes somewhat invisible to to a woman with standards and with values. You know what I'm saying?
Which is my listeners, because all of my ladies are shiners. They shine. So they understand that. Even if he is good looking, then he's a non-factor because he's taken. He belongs to somebody else. And I've always wanted my own. I never wanted to take somebody else's whatever. I always wanted my own. And I felt like if they were able to get what's perfect for them or what they wanted, then I'm capable as a woman to be able to get what I want. So yeah, it's invisible.
You have everything that you need to get whatever it is that you want. You know what I'm saying? But you can't have something that belongs to somebody else. And that's just as simple as that. You can't have what does not belong to you. So it's simple as that.
And then I also noticed too that if we're not careful as married women, if we throw off that vibe that, every woman is after my husband, it destroys sisterhood.
It does.
It destroys sisterhood because it makes this whole blanket statement. And so now you make people feel like they have to watch every woman who doesn't have a ring on her left hand. And it just destroys the whole concept of sisterhood. And it makes women work against one another instead of embracing one another and working with one another.
And the truth of it is that if another woman can catch the eye of your man, it's something already wrong with that relationship.
Whoa.
It's already something going on there that needs to be worked out between the two of you. She's just somebody that, and what gets me is that, like I say, I go back to church because a lot of my relationships are there. So when you have this dynamic of you and your husband, and then you have this view which comes from a place of insecurity that somebody wants your husband, now you put all of these women, you cast a light on all of these women who don't even know your husband. You know what I'm saying? Who may not have even looked his way except for to say, that's Sister So-and-so's husband. Yeah. And so now it's this blanket statement out, that all of the single women have to fall up under, and we're not all alike.
Now, it probably does a whole lot for lifting your husband's ego.
Exactly.
That you would think and that you would voice that every woman, all these women want him. I mean, it probably does wonders for his ego and probably makes your relationship a little bit better. But at the same time, just coming to the realization and understanding that, and and I think that I would be crazy. I would have to my husband is a musician.
Right.
And so he's going to see a ton of women.
Exactly.
He's going to see a ton of people. I run into people that I don't even know, but they know that's Rob's wife, and so they're going to meet people. Can you imagine how crazy I would be if I was insecure in that relationship and felt that other women, that's their goal in life is to break up my marriage? I would not be able to function.
Because what you would do is you would allow your insecurity to cause him to miss opportunity.
True.
And so the thing of it is that because he has to navigate to walk on eggshells to keep you secure, he's missing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you have to deal with that. You have to get yourself together and know if this man is with me, that's really all that needs to be said.
And
you know
so
what I'm
the
saying?
threat really to any relationship is not the single woman outside of your relationship.
But
it is only the woman inside that affects that relationship.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, so we've done 9 of these already.
Yeah.
And we have worked our way to number 1. The number 1 thing that women over 30, single women over 30, want everybody to know is, drum roll please, there is nothing wrong with me.
Exactly. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you if you're single and over 30. The only thing that's wrong with you is that you allow the projections of others to get into your head. You know?
Wow.
Yes.
That's powerful.
Yes. You allow other people to project stuff on you that causes you now to navigate your whole life based upon what somebody else is thinking. The craziest thing, right? We always say, I don't care what other people think. But then we set up our lives as
based on what other people think.
Exactly. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with you if you're still single by 30. It actually comes off. You hear people say, like, what's wrong with her? You know, it's in a sense. Now, they might not come straight out and say it, but they say, so I wonder why you're not married yet. You know?
Or, they'll ask you directly, like, why aren't you married yet?
Why aren't you married yet? It's almost, and it makes you feel like you're like the last item on the shelf. I'm not
that last slice of pizza. Like, I really want it. It's pepperoni pizza, but it's the last slice. So something must be wrong with it. Somebody touched it, breathed on it or something.
I wanted pepperoni, but this is only cheese and sausage. I don't eat that. You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel like you're left out. You're the last item on the list.
Yeah.
Right. And so what the thing of it is that you have to turn that thing around and say, I might be, a little bit late, but late flowers still bloom,
True.
Late flowers still bloom. I got some, what do they call them, like perennials or something, that come up in their season. Tulips. They come up in their season. While all of these other flowers are blooming, they're just sitting back. And they're waiting. They're sitting back. And then after a while, they come up, and they are some of the most beautiful things when they do pop up and show up and stick their head out and say, and you know what? And the thing about it is that people, not everybody's going to get you. And that's the idea that you have to understand. Sometimes you have to wait until you find that person that gets you. Not everybody's going to get you, and not everybody's supposed to get you. You know what I'm saying? You are made specially for someone who can value what you have.
True.
And if they can't enhance you, why are they there? They're distraction or subtraction. You know what I'm saying? So they're taken away from you, and you don't want that. You've waited this long, so get what you want. True. And get something that makes you happy.
And you don't want to allow yourself to feel like you talked about earlier about projecting or accepting somebody else's projection of how you are. It doesn't mean that you're defective or you're undateable. It's just that you haven't found the person that you want to give that level of your time and your commitment.
And then the thing of it is that a lot of times when you are when you're getting, when you haven't found that person and you are late, a lot of men are also will feed into that, and it's almost like people make you feel like you should be here by this time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. By now, or either your standards are too high. Something wrong with why you're not married at this time. Your standards must be too high. You know what I'm saying? And so you get labeled as, oh, she's stuck up, she's arrogant, she's conceited. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you get shamed for coming into your own and for realizing who you are and not allowing
the ultimate shame, she's not marriage material.
Exactly. What is marriage material?
What is that? What is it really?
Well, give me the pattern, okay? Because I can sew it together if you give me the pattern.
Yeah, so, there's nothing wrong with it. And I think, too, again, it speaks to that part of women who wants to internalize everything and in a search for a reason or an answer, we tend to turn it in on ourselves and there must be something wrong with me. Or because maybe we're insecure and think that then we'll turn that out on another woman. Well, there must be something wrong with her. There must be some huge, defect that men are dodging like the plague if nobody's, because she's cute enough,
right.
she's slim enough, she's, whatever it is, she's tall enough, she's short enough, but she doesn't have anybody. And so we want to put that off on somebody else, but there's nothing wrong with me if I just happen to be over 30 and not married.
Here's the thing. You have to be okay with who you are. You have to be okay with you before somebody else can be okay with you. True. You have to be able to accept your flaws and all before you can expect someone else to be able to accept your flaws. When you accept who you are and your flaws, they're not flaws anymore. You, that's just a part of who you are.
It's a part of the fabric of your life.
Of who you are. It's what makes you you. What makes you different, right?
Yeah.
And so this is answers I've given when people ask me, well, why aren't you married yet? I learned to say it's just not the right time. We do the safe answers. I just haven't found the right person yet, right? And so that kind of backs them up a little bit just so you can gather yourself, right? And so the thing of it is, and sometimes we're not married because we're afraid. But we don't want to tell anybody that.
We
don't want to tell it. That's the hidden. That's the hidden thing. We're 30 and we're afraid because of various reasons. You've become into your own.
And you have more at stake.
Right. You set your life up. We got women. Women are entrepreneurs. We're rising. You know what I'm saying? And so you've set your life up. You've come into your own. You've actually got into your mode. And you're doing your thing. Do I really want somebody that's going to come in and kind of now I have to change.
Now you have to adjust.
Right, I have to change all of this. And so am I really ready for that? Am I really ready to accept this other person into my space that I've become accustomed to, So it's almost, it's different fears. It could be commitment fears, Will I make we go through the thing of, will I make a good wife? What if, and when people tell you, that's why I say about those horror stories. When they tell you them horror stories,
you're like, oh my
all
God.
of that stuff
stays in your head.
Right. It plays in your mind. So it's like, oh wow. And then the thing of us being able to not be forced into accepting something that we don't want. You know what I'm saying? So it's saying, I don't have to accept anything just because I don't have, And so being able to be okay with who you are.
So the idea of embracing yourself enough, and that's what we're all about, as She Shines, is embracing every part of who you are. And part of that is being able to embrace the fact that I'm not going to be labeled as defective. I'm not going to label myself as defective because I happen to be over 30 and unmarried. And I'm not going to let anybody else label me as that because there's nothing wrong with me. And I think that is such a powerful thing when we realize that we're okay. We're okay.
You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You have everything that you need to have. And the thing of it is that a lot of times is that when we're over 30 and you get into that place, you begin to discover things about you that you didn't know in your 20s. You begin to like things about you that you didn't like in your 20s. And so the thing is, you don't want to take on anybody or accept anybody that does not know how to deal with that.
That doesn't know how to value
who you are.
The total of who you are. Yeah, that's valid point. I feel like we have talked about so much today.
Yeah.
I really wish that this show had been done when I was 30. Like I think it would have changed my outlook. It would have given me a different outlook because there were not outlets that I could express these types of things. And I know if I was feeling this way or thinking this way, I couldn't be the only one, right?
Right. It's almost like you suffer silently because you don't want to be the one to stick out. It's like the person in class that does not know what the teacher's talking about and they're too afraid to say, hey, I don't know, because they don't want to look stupid. They don't want to look dumb.
If they had raised their hand,
right,
there would have been 6 other people who needed to know the same answer.
Exactly.
Got
exactly.
it. Well, you know what? I got to tell you, I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Welcome.
I have had an incredibly fun time just kind of hashing through some of these singles issues. Again, it's different to be over 30 and single. And 30 is not old. Let me tell you. 30 is the new 20, 40 is the new 30.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you in a few years whether 50 is the new 40, baby. I'm like that. But it's a different thing. And 30, again, it's not old. 30 is not old. Age is a number. But it does kind of take you into a little different territory. And so I definitely wanted to be able to address that and just open up the conversation so that we could just talk about, you know, what it is that singles may face over 30. That's not such a big deal, you know, in their 20s. And so I appreciate you coming on and doing the top 10 with me. I just wonder if we missed any.
I'm sure we have, you know.
So here's where I give everybody a chance to get in on this conversation. If there is something that you think we missed, maybe we missed an item or two, drop a comment and tell me what those are. If we get enough of them and we need to come back and do another show, I will bring Miss Anita back on and we will walk through this thing again and get all of your comments. Better yet, I want you to go to the She Shines podcast Facebook group. Join in on the conversation there. That's where the sisterhood is, and that's where we'll be talking about everything that we talked about today. And I definitely want your feedback. I want to know if you've experienced this, if you faced this. I want to know if this has helped you, if it gives you a different outlook. We need to know all of that, because guess what? We climb higher when we lift up someone else. And that's our goal here, is always to empower you to embrace every facet of who you are, to help you to find that beautiful balance for your life, and above all, to encourage you to shine. So remember, you've been listening to the She Shines podcast. And if you know someone who you want to see shine, invite them to come and share with us in the Facebook page. And don't forget to press that subscribe button so that you can hear all of the upcoming shows. I am your host, Sharon Holmes, and until next time, light it up, girls. Let's keep on shining.